What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Week 8 Swolecast, Fantasy Insiders. I'm Sammy Reed at Sammy Reed FI. I'm joined by Evan Silva at Evan Silva, Mr. Tuttle 05, and at Davis Mattek, all their Twitter handles. You guys are in luck because you have the second worst host in the history of the Swolecast doing this thing with you.
In
Tuttle,
this case, second worst
it's
is
an
like
upgrade.
the GOAT. It's such a GOAT move.
Huge upgrade.
Show's going to be great this week. We're going to give out so many good takes. I'm not even going to say anything about Chris Conley at all.
How about Alex Smith? Are we going to get into Alex Smith?
We'll have a little bit of Alex talk.
Okay.
I think Evan kind of likes Alex Smith this week, so I'm a little scared.
Evan's very sharp.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, we're missing Soccer Dave. He's been suspended for a week because he had too many bad takes. So I'm in here.
I've got a sick kid. I've got a freaking sick kid in my arms right now.
Right. There he is.
No, turn the mute button on, Davis or Soccer Dave.
Yeah, shut him down.
I'm trying to.
Shut him down. Get him out of here. Not allowed to be in the clubhouse. Not allowed to be in the dugout. Not allowed to practice with the team. Suspended. Let's get into this Week 8 action right here. First off, Mr. Tuttle, how do you really see lineup construction going and what you've done so far?
It's an interesting week. It's not like last week we had so many quarterback options, and it kind of came down to you could fill in your quarterback position last. This week's a little more difficult where I hate to say it, but like Alex Smith legitimately is in consideration.
Davis, would you agree with this Alex Smith take?
I don't think so on DraftKings, but Evan, Alex Smith is $6,800 on FanDuel on the road in a dome. We got Alex Smith on turf. We know he has some wheels. Again, like on the road to get the Colts, like this is a good spot for Alex to just smash 6,800 on FanDuel. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are better plays, though, on this slate. I mean, you could drop down for 400 less on FanDuel and play Josh McCown. I think he's very much in play. I think that Ryan Fitzpatrick is very much in play. I really like the Tampa Bay-Oakland game with Derek Carr and Jameis Winston. Matt Ryan, if you want to pay up. My favorite quarterback play on the slate, though, is Andrew Luck. In the Chiefs' last two games, or in two of their last three games, have given up top two quarterback performances to Ben Roethlisberger and Drew Brees. Drew Brees on the road smashed them. They don't get any pressure on the opposing quarterback, and Andrew Luck has been a top 10 fantasy quarterback in 4 straight weeks. He's getting back Kreef. He's getting back Dorsett to kind of occupy Marcus Peters' coverage. We saw that Jack Doyle could play in a big role last week, and Hilton is as deadly as any receiver in football right now. So for me, like the first way that I want to start my lineup constructions is with Andrew Luck and T.Y. Hilton, and then we're making decisions from there.
Yeah.
Now we saw Andrew Luck. I believe he's his lowest price on FanDuel since 2012. How much does the return of Dante Moncrief bump him up in your mind? And furthermore, do you think he takes anything away from T.Y. Hilton?
It's huge for his touchdown probabilities because Kreef is like legitimately good in the red zone. Like I know we're all very high on Jack Doyle fever after last week.
It hurts Doyle more than anything. I think
it does. It does hurt Doyle for certain. But I think Kreef is a huge deal for Luck. Luck is 6,800 on DraftKings. I can't remember him being that cheap in quite some time. Like I think now with this Booker stuff, I think you can get away with Luck in DraftKings and FanDuel cash.
I will say I think it's on DraftKings. It is going to be, even though I do like Luck for 6,800, it is tough to even go higher.
Jameis.
It's tougher to go higher than the Tampa Bay game. Like Jameis at 5,700, Derek Carr at 5,900. Those guys are going to be tough to pass up.
Who do you like better there, Tets?
I think Jameis. I think you got to go Jameis there, but I can see the play. I can see both reasoning for both plays.
Well, I feel like Carr is probably the better overall quarterback. I think he's got better weapons, but Jameis is at home and obviously has, just the higher implied team total. Yep. Evan, is there something to this fact that Tampa becomes more comfortable running hurry up at home and therefore might have more plays out of them?
I mean, Dirk Cutter, their head coach, has said that. and that is the case for a lot of teams across the league. You see the Packers play faster at home. You see the Panthers play faster at home. So, I mean, that's not just limited to one team. Just offensive coordinators and people that are in charge of the offenses are more comfortable playing faster at home. And that's why we see a lot of strong home road splits for quarterbacks in favor of when they're at home. With Andrew Luck, Davis mentioned how Moncrief helps his touchdown probability, and I agree. Moncrief actually has 6 touchdown catches in his last 8 games played with Andrew Luck, or his last 8 games played start to finish. And then, I mean, I think that this game, first of all, it has a high total, and I think that the smart money would be on the over for the total. But my one concern is, do the Chiefs roll to Indy and play ball control and dominate time of possession? Because, we saw Ben Roethlisberger light up the Chiefs. We saw Drew Brees light up the Chiefs. But in between, Derek Carr did not light up the Chiefs, and that's because the Chiefs had the ball the entire game.
It's hard to ball control when no one can tackle Spencer Ware, and he just has 3 touchdown runs or 70 yards. Hard to control the ball if you're scoring touchdowns, fella.
Davis, talk to me a little bit about how you're spending your money, running back versus wide receiver. Where's the optimal place to spend up here?
I mean, I just think you're mashing in Booker on both sides. And then I think on DraftKings, I think if you don't have so you're taking Booker and you're taking David Johnson, and then you're taking your favorite out of Jacquizz Rodgers and Spencer Ware or Devonta Freeman. I assume Freeman is at the top of that list for most people. I see a pretty good argument for Ware, though, just because, I mean, this Colts defense they are historically bad on the ground. Actually, Evan, right now, I'm putting you on the spot. Ware or Freeman?
Man, I mean,
it's dumb close.
I really, yeah. So because I think that they're both such awesome plays, I'm going to take the cheaper one in Devonta Freeman. He's cheaper on FanDuel. I don't know who's cheaper on DraftKings. But I mean, I love the spot for Devonta Freeman. He had 8 touchdowns in the 4 games that Tevin Coleman missed last year. The Packers, they have that number 1 run defense ranking, but they've played no good running games except for the one time that they did play a good running game. They got dominated by the Cowboys, and the Falcons do have a legitimately good running game too. Really good, an OC with a really good run game history. A back who was the number 1 overall fantasy running back last year, and an offensive line that has been really dominant so far this year with the addition of Alex Mack. So I'm probably going to just take the $500 discount on FanDuel and run Devonta Freeman. But I mean, in terms of raw points, Spencer Ware is definitely top 5 on the slate.
Are we going to blur out Davis Mattek's sweatshirt there?
No. He's
it's
already doing stuff with his cards, and it makes it look.
That's the brand.
It makes it look like he's doing something else.
Do you not have any poker chips? You sit there and shuffle cards?
My poker chips are in the closet.
Dude, let's make a DraftKings lineup.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Evan, first pick.
I have a proposal. So I really don't like the main slate at all. Okay. I don't like any defense plays, and I really, really, really want to play
Vikings D against Cutler.
Absolutely, but I also really, really want to play Matt Asiata.
First time I said that.
Matt Asiata.
This is my first time on the Swolecast, and we're getting Alex Smith and Matt Asiata. I'm out of here, man. Y'all deserve David Kitchen.
So Silva has us going to the Sunday Monday slate here.
Yeah. Can we run to Sunday Monday?
We can do that.
And we're going to start with Asiata and Vikings defense. They're both awesome plays. Matt Asiata has 13 career games with 15 or more touches, 11 touchdowns in them, has a ton of multiple touchdown games. I mean, I think he's a good play on both FanDuel and DraftKings because he could definitely catch 5-6 passes. He'll only gain 23 yards. But I mean, he can rack up catches, and I think he has his touchdown probability is as high as any running backs on this slate. And I want access to him, and he's 3,500 on DK.
Do you like him better than Booker? Just like straight out.
No, but I think that there's definitely a non-zero chance that he outscores Booker.
Yeah,
would agree.
And you can play both of them too. I mean, you could play Booker at 3,700 and Asiata at 3,500 and build.
That's my pick. So let's take Booker and then let's just mash the rest of this lineup. Tuttle, who you got?
Just bone crushers the rest of the way.
Bone crusher.
I'll go Mike Evans. Obvious play.
Best play of the week, Mike Evans.
Sammy. First pick. Don't mess up your first pick with the Swolecast.
What would Kitchen do? That's the question I need to ask myself.
He would take Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I would take the chalk.
You would take the chalk. I'm going to take Gary Barnidge.
Yes.
I didn't screw it up.
Yes.
Sammy is sharp, dude. He is. Picking a lot of boxes here.
There we go, fella.
Oh, it's so exciting. It's all downhill from here.
Back to you, Evan.
All right, hang on. It's so hard to get to these Sunday, Monday slates. I gotta.
No,
it's just like
you're the one who said it.
I know, but I mean they're hard to find, Soccer Dave. All right. So we got Asiata, Booker.
Booker, Evans, Barnidge, Vikings. 6.8K left per slot. Probably jamming in a wide receiver, or we can take luck.
Yeah. Let's just throw in Julio.
Yeah, that was gonna be my pick, but so my pick is gonna be Ty Montgomery because I think he is like the easiest play on DraftKings this week, and I know Tuttle disagrees with me, and we'll get to that here in a minute. And Sammy, you got to make the quarterback or flex selection.
Into it, super into it. Let's see. I'll let you guys choose the quarterbacks. You guys might not. It's a tournament, so we should probably go receiver in the flex, though, right?
Yeah.
You know what? Forget all that, man. Spencer Ware.
Nice.
Spencer Ware. I mean, Indy's 32nd in DVOA against the rush. They are so bad. They're undersized up front. Their run fits are bad. They can't tackle. Spencer Ware, Jamal Charles is out. Let's go.
We're 100 short of Jameis.
So we got to take the JJ special Osweiler, right? Just the worst possible play.
I'm not doing Osweiler. It's not happening.
Who were the
other two? I staked on this.
I will say this week's Tuttle Stakes cover boy is DeAndre Hopkins. So
we can stack up McCown with Barnidge here.
There we go, McCown. That's fine by me.
Works with me.
All right, so the team is McCown, Asiata, Booker, Evans, Julio Jones, Ty Montgomery, Gary Barnidge, Spencer Ware, Vikings D. It's a pretty good little team. Yeah,
it's not bad. Besides Asiata,
Hey, Asiata, he only scores touchdowns in threes.
Dude, Asiata is the play of the week.
The play of the week.
I like it.
He's the Evan Silva makes it move play of the week.
So play if you can find him. You got to play the Sunday Monday slates just so you can get Matt Asiata in.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about these running backs, Sammy. Is that what you want to do? What do you want to do?
That's exactly what I want to do. Thanks for holding my hand through this. There's a ton of chalk, you guys. A ton of it. David Johnson, Christian Michael, Zeke, Freeman, Ware, Jacquizz Rodgers, all these guys. Silva, why don't you start us off? Who's your very favorite running back play this week besides Matt Asiata?
I mean, Devontae Booker is the easiest answer. I think Ezekiel Elliott is not going to have a lot of ownership again, even though he crushes every single week.
Leads the NFL in rushing yards, hasn't been a cash play yet.
Yeah. And he's your Sunday night hammer for sure. The Eagles have not been great in run defense since their bye. They play wide 9 on defense, and they widen the splits of their defensive linemen. And against a power rushing attack like Dallas is, I think Ezekiel Elliott could really, really rip it up. It helps that Dez is coming back. The Eagles will have to pay more attention now to a perimeter receiver, and love Zeke Elliott on Sunday night. like Devonta Freeman, I think on FanDuel is my favorite play besides Booker and Asiata at his price. And then, I don't know. I think that those are pretty much all the guys that I'm using, and plus Spencer Ware.
Tuttle, how you feel about Zeke this week?
I like him. I don't see myself playing him in cash just because I do side with like the Spencer Ware, Devonta Freeman, and David Johnsons of the world. But he would kind of be that secondary tier for me. But the position is really shallow. I think once you kind of get off those, top 4 or 5 chalky running backs, I think it takes a really deep hit. I will say someone that I wrote up and that I like for GPPs is Matt Forte. I just think the touches are going to be there. I saw 34 touches last week, highest snap count since week 2. I think you'll see a similar situation this week where he gets a ton of touches. I could parlay that into some fantasy goodness.
Talk to me a little bit about Devonta Freeman. Obviously, with Tevin Coleman out, he's going to get a ton of touches. Green Bay's been really good against running backs. They're second in DVOA against the rush. They're fourth in DVOA.
They faced like all these terrible running backs though, and then Zeke came into Lambeau and just like hammer smashed them.
He did.
And it doesn't even matter. Like I'll take a guy getting 25 touches against the number 1 defense just because and Atlanta is favored in this game, so they're gonna score some points and they run a lot at the goal line anyways. Like their leading involved guy in the red zone this year is Jacob Tammy, so they're really not trying to force the issue down there through the air, I don't think. So like I think Freeman is a pretty easy play, but I mean I don't know, like are people not talking about David Johnson? Like he's going against this defense that just gives up like 28 points a week, and Carson Palmer is like captain check down now. DJ in a 6-6 game that everyone pretty much agreed was like the worst nationally televised football game ever got to 28.5 DraftKings points. Like he's a stone lock this week, I think.
The other thing is this, and is like a Le'Veon Bell truther. It pains me to say this, but I do think that David Johnson is the most talented running back in the NFL. Evan, would you be on board with that?
I mean, David Johnson, I don't know. David Johnson and Le'Veon Bell. I don't.
It's those guys. I won't even argue that point, but it's those guys and everyone else.
But here are the running backs that the Packers have faced besides Ezekiel Elliott. Okay, T.J. Yeldon,
terrible.
The corpse of Adrian Peterson,
worse.
Theo Riddick,
Woat.
Rashad Jennings,
vomit.
Oh, and who was that other? Orleans Darkwa.
I mean, Orleans Darkwa, he's the second best running back on that list.
And Kadeem Carey averaged 4.8 yards per carry against the Packers.
That's a strong list right there.
All right, so Evan is not afraid. Tuttle, talk to me a little bit about running backs that aren't chalky, that you could potentially, besides maybe Matt Forte, that you could potentially see making a big dividend in tournaments.
Yeah, Forte is really the main guy for me. I don't like the position outside of the chalk, really. I think you might see people trying to play and jam in Mike Gillislee with LaShawn McCoy doubtful. Don't do it.
They gave Reggie Bush red zone looks. Like he is a bad play.
Yeah, I agree there. So, that's kind of my stance. I don't really see a whole lot. I actually don't think Christine Michael is going to be that heavily owned. So I think you can play him kind of as a pivot off some of the other guys.
Take,
yeah, see Mike.
Well, because Russ is like dead. Russ has 0 passing or rushing touchdowns in his last 2 games. They're just mashing C Mike.
Where's the water jugs, you guys? I brought out this cool little thing of grapefruit juice because I had no water jugs, and now I'm all alone.
Well, David had me so tilted before the show that I left my water jug out in the living room just because I was like just tilted.
My daughter is sick, and she's in my arms right now. Like I don't understand. I don't understand what you do not understand about my situation.
Soccer Dave, unbelievable.
No one believes that, Dave.
Yeah. Shut him down. Soccer Dave actually just has this big herpes, so he doesn't want to be on.
Well, I couldn't start the meeting, so I can't mute him. So whenever David wants to kick in with him,
his
disembodied voice, he just starts talking.
It's like Oz talking to you. Let's go on to a wide receiver. Tuttle, let's start with you. Who's your favorite kind of tournament plays out of the wide receiver position this week?
DeAndre Hopkins. I think if you want to attack this game, I said we know the people that are touting Osweiler out there. I think if you want to attack, I think DeAndre Hopkins is the guy. Darius Slay out. Detroit's just terrible against the pass. So without Slay, I think Hopkins makes for a good play. He's got 27 targets over the last 2 games. Going to see a ton of volume in this matchup. So I like him quite a bit.
Osweiler's going to finish as like a top 12 fantasy quarterback in a week where only 24 quarterbacks are starting, and then the people touting him are going to be like, "Yes, I told you."
It's going to happen. He's so bad.
Dude, he is like 18th level bad. Like he is like drunk Ryan Fitzpatrick bad. Except without the irrational confidence. That's the big thing about Osweiler. He's got no confidence.
Fitzpatrick will still sling it.
Yeah, you got it. If you're playing bad, I mean, Blake Bortles will tell you this. If you're the worst quarterback you've ever seen, you got to just let it rip.
Just chuck it.
You got to just chuck it. And he won't do it. He's like, all right, here's CJ Fedorowicz. You're 6 yards away. I'm going to lob it to you.
Go tight end play of the week.
Are people going to play Fedorowicz over Barnage?
Yes. That will happen.
Wow. Yeah. I'm playing Barnage.
Yeah, that's a play. I mean, the thing about the Jets is that they man blitz so much, right? This is a team that sends 6 or more rushers more than any team in the NFL. They play man coverage behind it, and they can't cover in man. So that's why you see such explosive plays against them in the passing game. Evan, I couldn't agree more. Davis, who's the first receiver you're jamming in?
I mean, it's Mike Evans. Like, Mike Evans has to get less than 13 targets in a game just once, and then maybe I'll stop making him the number 1 play every week.
Not going to happen.
I don't see that happening. Traveling. So they're on the road against the team that has given up the most passing yards and most total yards in football. The thing about Mike Evans and Tuttle and I actually, or maybe it was Nate and I on a podcast earlier this week, we were talking about how, the guys who beat the Raiders are real fast guys. Well, guess what? Mike Evans is both giant and runs a 4.4 flat. So it's just, what are you going to do? Like, good luck, Sean Smith. You're going to get burnt for 210 yards.
That was really good analysis, and I agree with all of it, but the Bucs are at home this week.
I thought they were is this real?
But Bucs are home, yeah.
Oh, swag.
You remember earlier when I asked
even more
to play at home? Remember that?
I think I was under the assumption like this was part of his analysis and he just misspoke.
Bless
he was
his
trying
heart.
to make the coast, like the West Coast travel a point.
Bless his heart.
Oh my God. But with the West Coast travel, I like it even more now.
West to East.
Oh my God. I'm going to have 100% Evans for the second week in a row.
Tuttle, you did the right thing by just letting him go though. Like, don't stop him. Just let him.
You always got to let me hang.
He did the same thing last week with the Colts and Jack
I gave
Doyle.
Davey too much credit.
Can somebody mute Soccer Dave?
I've been trying for like half an hour. I won't let me. Okay. No, Tuttle. Actually, here. We'll do this to start the discussion. Evan, Ty Montgomery, 5,300 on DraftKings as a wide receiver. I'm pretty sure he's like the stone nut play of the week. Is that Fish?
I mean, I liked making my lineups without him better, but like I understand why you would like him for sure. I mean, he has like in theory he has a great floor and a great ceiling. I mean, he's barely played, or he's played in 2 games, and he has 8 red zone targets and 4 red zone carries. That is just absurd.
And Cobb did not practice today.
Cobb was limited, but
or was it Thursday? One of the days he didn't practice at all.
Limited. He was extremely limited on
extremely
Thursday.
limited.
I mean, I think he's going to play, but I mean, Montgomery is a good play on DK. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, on FanDuel, I don't like maybe if you're playing 150. As Tuttle would say, if you're playing 150 lineups,
play him in 2.
You play him in 2.
Well, he's a running back on FanDuel. He has less value.
Yeah,
exactly. He's not a good player.
So let's do this. Let's talk a little bit about the receivers in this New Orleans Seattle game, right? Because
I have a very hot take.
You just want to let it out, or do you want to let it build up until the end?
No, I'm gonna let it build.
Let it fester.
Mm-hmm.
All right, very good. Silva, talk to me a little bit about the receivers you like in this Superdome game.
Definitely Doug Baldwin running routes at Devontae Harris, undrafted rookie out of Texas A&M, is only playing because Sterling Moore is out with an abdominal injury. The Saints already benched Devontae Harris once earlier in the season. On the other side, I think that my favorite play, I mean, it's tough between all the Saints pass catchers, but I think that my favorite play is probably Brandon Cooks because of the way that he can move in relation to the big physicality, the size and physicality of the Seahawks cornerbacks. Deshaun Shedd is a big corner. Richard Sherman is a big cornerback, and I think that Brandon Cooks is a good bet already for big plays whenever he's at the Superdome. And I think that he has the best shot at a big play. Willie Snead is a guy who I've heard some smart people talk about so far. But the Seahawks have been really good against slot corners so far this season. The only slot receiver to top 60 yards against them was Larry Fitzgerald, and he got 70 yards and he needed 14 targets to do it. So I think that if I'm going to pick a Saints receiver, it would probably be Brandon Cooks.
Tuttle, we're going to let Davis's hot take fester just a little more so it gets nice and toasty. What do you think about the receivers from this game?
Yeah, I think I like Breeze a lot for tournaments, but if I'm running him, I'm probably running him naked. I don't think there's a good way to predict who's going to get the volume here. I think the tight end position probably has the best individual matchup, but those snaps are split now with Josh Hill and Kobe Fleener, where you're not going to be able to predict who's going to get the touches there. Don't like any really of the individual matchups at wide receiver. So if I'm playing Breeze in tournaments, which I will, I think I'll just run him kind of solo, run him naked. As far as Seahawks go, I think I'm with Evan. I like Baldwin a lot. And then obviously at tight end, Jimmy Graham is a great play as well against the Saints.
Baldwin, just to expound on what Silva was talking about, has the number one individual matchup as rated by Pro Football Focus. So fully on board with that. Davis, it's hot. It's festering. Give us the take.
I'm going to let it fester even longer for the listeners of this show. So you guys see how clean shaven I am right now? Do you see how smooth this face is right now? It's because Harry's hooked us all up with these free trial kits. And I hate to shave. It's like a hassle. It's like flossing. It's like who has the time to do it?
I don't really shave.
I don't floss.
I work from home. I can be grungy. It doesn't matter. But Harry's hooked us up with these kits, and they have these super nice razors, and you feel very presidential, honestly, with a shaving kit. It's pretty lit.
I did order one. I ordered one.
Yeah, you got to do it. I've already had a couple people order them, listen to the podcast, and they said it was worth it. If you're listening to this show right now, I know all of you are at work, completely not listening. Like, you're not paying attention to doing your work at all. Go to harrys.com, order the free trial set. All you do is $3 for shipping. If you enter the promo code SWOLE, you'll get some free aftershave, and you're going to get a free hot take right here. Michael Thomas, 5,700 on FanDuel, leader of the New Orleans Saints in targets and red zone targets. Cash game viable on FanDuel as your third guy. I'm pretty into this take. He looks good.
He does look good, and Seattle, where they really struggle, is against number two wide receivers. I think they have their lowest DVOA mark against number two receivers. He's 57 on FanDuel?
Yes.
Do you think he's cash viable?
Yes, he is currently in my cash team as we speak. He's sitting there looking at me just so pretty at 5,700.
All right. No, I'm actually not fully away from it. Let's talk a little bit about a guy that I think might have some value should he potentially play. It's kind of in the Barnage region here, but it's Terrell Pryor, who Davis Mattek said was a top 10 receiver after week 3. What do you guys think about Pryor? Do you think he's got any value here against the Jets?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he does. It's just I don't know how healthy he is right now, and I'm playing Barnage. That's my thing.
Yeah, I'm on board with him in GPPs. I think you could make an argument for him in cash games, but I would view him more as a secondary or GPP option.
All right, another team I want to talk about real fast, Arizona. Right, we know that Carolina is really strong over the middle with their zone coverage shell, but they've really struggled against corners. It's looking right now like Michael Floyd is probably not going to play. Do you guys like the outside passing options, J.J. Nelson, Smokey Brown. Do you guys like these guys in tournaments?
I like Fitz, but
I actually like Fitz, even though the inside. Yeah, I think I was reading Silva's column. Silva pointed this out in his article. I think Fitz has a 6-inch, 30-pound advantage on McLean for the.
And it actually looks like the Panthers are now going to move McLean outside and use a dude who they're bringing off injured reserve designated return by the name of Leonard Johnson, who has played for about 9 NFL teams, and he's going to be their slot corner now.
So Fitz is going to eat.
Yeah, I mean Fitz should straight up eat. He leads the NFL in targets inside the 10-yard line. I mean, if we're just talking about touchdown probability, like Larry Fitzgerald has to be in your top 5 or at worst top 10 among wide receivers on this slate. I think he's an awesome play, and I think he's cash game viable. In every game that Carson Palmer has played start to finish so far this year, he has at least 9 targets. He's hovered between 9 and 14 targets. He's an awesome play with health situations on the outside. I mean, I love the matchup for John Brown. I don't like, is he going to be ready for a full run? JJ Nelson is intriguing, but he's like a splash play player. He's like a better version of Chris Conley. I mean, different. He's like
Tyreek Hill is what he is.
Obviously built different, but and then Michael Floyd, like, he's a game time decision. So it's just a lot of lack of clarity at the perimeter receiver positions. Larry Fitzgerald should just pile up targets, and when they're in, we know where they're going. They're going to him.
Yep.
Silva, is there anybody else in tournaments we haven't talked about that you're super into?
Brandon Marshall. I think that game goes over the total, and I think that we should be targeting games that we think are going to go over the total, and I think that Jets-Browns definitely goes over the total. It's only 43 right now. I think that instead of using the totals as a baseline, we should be trying, as our blueprint, we should be trying to find games that are going to shoot out. And I think that game, I don't know if it'll necessarily be a shootout, but I think it'll definitely go over the total. Love T.Y. Hilton. He's going to get a lot of routes against Steven Nelson, who Drew Brees attacked specifically last week. And
Steven Nelson is not good.
Right. One guy that we didn't mention, and I'm not sure who to pair him with in the quarterbacks, is I'd probably end up pairing him with Greg Olsen if I was going to play him. But that's Cam Newton, who's going to be at probably his lowest ownership rate of the entire season. He's been a top 5 fantasy quarterback in 7 of his last 10 home games. And we have like an Ace Rothstein spot, as Adam Levitan calls it, where the Seahawks or the Cardinals are coming off a late night primetime game that went to overtime, that was draining, and now going on the road to face a team that really needs this win, that is coming off a bye, with a rested, healthy roster.
And Cam said, "I'm still going to run."
And right, and the Cardinals have allowed the most rushing yards in the NFL to opposing quarterbacks. So I think that you can get Cam at super low ownership, and his price. I mean, he was a $9,000 quarterback for most of last year. In the early part of this season, he's down to 8,300 on FanDuel. I think he's an awesome tournament play.
And they're home favorites. They have the 7th highest implied team total of the week at 25 points right now. So not a bad spot for him. I don't hear anybody talking about Cam. Let's shift over to tight end, get that done, build our –
Real quick. I got a wide receiver take I want to get out. Guy who's been sneaky consistent since week 2, only under 15.9 DraftKings points once. Anyone have a guess?
Chris Conley.
Demaryius Thomas. I think he's going to see like well below like 3% ownership because everybody's going to jam Devontae Booker in. They're not going to want to throw a Broncos wide receiver with him in the same lineup. And I think you can do that. I think you can play both Booker and Demaryius Thomas and get a good large equity of their get a good large portion of the Broncos touchdown equity by doing that.
You need to call him by his Christian name, Drops Thomas.
Drops Thomas. Dude, he's been so sneaky good.
No,
I like him quite a bit.
So good. Every time he scores, I just hope it hurts Ben Pritchett a little bit. Just
he calls him Drops Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think you compare him with Devontae Booker, and I think like if you get 40 DraftKings points out of the two, which I think is possible, like that's good for the price tag combination.
One guy that I wanted to add was Average Amari. I mean, he's been a spiked week player, and he's coming off a down week. And I mean, you know, he's disappointed us in some good spots before, but I mean, he's 6th in the NFL in catches and 6th in receiving yards, and he's going to be running routes at Vernon Hargreaves, the Buccaneers rookie cornerback. So I think this is a great spot for Carr and Cooper and Crabtree against a Tampa Bay funnel defense. I mean, I just, you know, we talked a lot about the Tampa Bay options in that game, but I think that the Raiders options also deserve some love. I mean, I think you could come up with a great game stack for that game.
I got one.
Jeremy,
Golden Tate. As long as Theoretic continues to be banged up, Jim Bob Cooter. Yeah, he told the media yesterday that the offense is still going to be very Tate centric. Basically, what's happened is that the first 3 weeks Marvin Jones got the ball every play, and then Riddick got hurt, and now Tate gets the ball every play. And he played pretty bad last weekend and still sucked out to 15 DraftKings points. So I think he's a fine cat. You should play him instead of Michael Thomas, obviously.
on DraftKings though.
Obviously.
Yeah. All right, you guys got anybody else that you're just itching to get out here? Wide receivers? All right, let's run over to tight end real fast. Number one tight end, probably I think the most chalky guy is going to be Jimmy Graham. Evan, are you going out of your way to jam him into your tourney lineups?
No.
Because he's just going to have Barnkowski.
He's going to have 100% Barnkowski.
100%.
Love it.
I mean, I think that Barnkowski is the best tight end play on the slate. I think that I really like Kelsey. I mean, the Colts are a slump-busting defense for opposing tight ends. And, I mean, I think that Gronkowski will probably be pretty low owned. Martellus Bennett missed practice today, listed as questionable. And, I mean, Gronk always has 2 touchdowns in his range of outcomes. And there's enough value at running back and at quarterback that you can certainly get in Gronkowski into tournament lineups.
Tuttle, what about for you, man? Are you taking the trip down narrative street with Jimmy Graham?
I think I might. I mean, it's going to depend on roster construction. I'm not jamming him in over a cheaper tight end if that's the way roster construction leads me. But you have to admit he's a great play. Narrative street or not, 8 targets, I think is his fewest targets in the last 4 games or so. Has a ton of upside in this matchup. I like him quite a bit.
Davis Mattek, I know you like some Jimmy. I know you're all about it. Am I right?
I will be making a case to play him. And
there you go.
For certain. Get Jimmy back on the fast track. Indoors, Russ. He's got another week to maybe get the thing about playing Jimmy that could be the woat is Russell Wilson is being held together by duct tape right now. He's got 2 different lower body injuries. His shoulder is sore. So that could end up being the worst, but I think it's pretty certain he scores a touchdown this week. I don't know. It just feels
is it his first game at the Superdome?
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Oh, it's like Popeye eating spinach, man. It's going to be great for him.
Can we break down this narrative? Is he pissed off or what? I mean, is he back?
I don't care about the narrative. I don't think
they didn't cut him. I mean, they just traded him. That happened. Do you think he's mad or what?
You never know. What lives in the head of a. You never know.
Never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, he's mad. They picked Josh Hill over him.
It doesn't have anything to do with the narrative. I just think he smashes because the Saints suck.
Yeah,
they can't defend anyone.
Yeah, I mean that's mainly it. But I mean, this is no Jack Doyle narrative by any means.
Oh, hey, you want to talk about a narrative? The double narrative came through for 22 DraftKings points and 9 targets.
It was only one narrative. He was not playing.
It was double.
It was a double narrative, and you need to recognize it.
You said friends and family.
No, I said he's from Indianapolis, Indiana, and he wanted to put on for the team. David, now go away.
Go hold your daughter.
Yeah, put a little medicine on Wyatt Herp. Okay, so Tuttle, you like Silva, you like Barnkowski a lot. Davis, you're obviously on Jimmy Graham. Tuttle, who do you like at tight end?
I mean, I think I'm with Silva in his take on Barnage. I do think Fedorich is a good play though too.
I still think Fedora Goat is good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a good play. He's a good secondary option. And if you need the money, if you need the savings, he gives you $500 savings or so on DraftKings, I'm fine taking that.
Do we, without friends and family in attendance, are we on Doyle at all, or do we genuinely think that the presence?
Terrible matchup. Moncrief back. Don't touch him.
Moncrief back is brutal. Yeah.
Do you guys like Colby Fleener at all against Seattle?
Not with Josh Hill trending up.
Dude, he keeps losing snaps to Josh Hill, the GOAT.
He's still running a ton of routes. I think his matchup is upgraded by the Seahawks loss of Cam
and Bennett, right?
And Michael Bennett. Yeah, I mean this Seahawks defense isn't going to be at full strength. I mean they're missing two of their difference makers. That's something to note, and that's something that we learned today.
The one thing I do like about Fleener is that, the Seahawks play cover 3 almost exclusively, like all the time, right? We saw this with Denver in the playoffs last year. We saw this a couple weeks ago with Jacob Tammy, where teams attack this by running their left wide receiver on a deep post and taking that corner with them, and then running an out and up behind it, either with the slot receiver or the tight end. I could potentially see a smart coach and QB combo like Breeze and Peyton trying to take advantage of this.
Hey, second time ever, the chat is giving us something helpful for the Jimmy Graham narrative. They said that, in his words, Jimmy was very surprised and disappointed to be traded because Sean Payton wouldn't pay him like a wide receiver. There you go.
Oh, that's right. There was that whole thing where they were like deciding, is he under the receiver or the tight end?
I mean, this is dumb. I don't really care about the narrative. The Saints just suck.
Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pick Jimmy Graham for our DraftKings team, or for a FanDuel team.
For the FanDuel team?
Boom.
That's fine by me. Fine by me, fella.
Should be noted, Seahawks are barely paying him as a wide receiver either. I mean, he's only making $10 million a year. That's like Doug Baldwin money.
So he's pissed off at them, too. He's mad at the world.
Oh, so this is a double narrative as well. He's disappointed in both teams.
He's disappointed. We got lots of narrative going on here.
Narrative street.
All right, Evan. So we got Graham at tight end. Who you go on at quarterback or wherever else?
We're doing Sunday money, right? Because that's how you play that.
No, we got to go. We got to go main slate for this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I need a lineup for my fantasy pros.
Yeah.
Daily fantasy accuracy contest.
Yeah, I need a DFAC team.
All right.
Aren't you top 10 right now, Tuttle?
I am, and I pretty much have just been putting Swolecast lineups in it.
Strong.
Did you pass me? Did you pass me yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I passed you too, Davis. You're. I mean, you're not quite at Soccer Dave like low levels.
No, I was ahead of both of you guys.
Larry Fitzgerald, I like that pick, Evan.
All right, so we got two legends, Larry Fitzgerald, Jimmy Graham. So I gotta take. Well, no one's made a terrible pick yet, so I'm taking Alex Smith. Yes.
I'm not running this.
Fine.
No,
I just wanted to say it. I just wanted to say it to get it.
Thank you. We can't. I just can't do it.
All right, I'm going Mike Evans.
What defense do we play on this horrible slate?
You just play a cheap one. Doesn't matter. Play Tampa Bay. They're 4,200.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
They're not. They don't get any sacks, and the Raiders don't give up any sacks.
Okay, so we can't play them. Let's see.
Bet on the drunk Ryan Fitzpatrick narrative and play the Browns.
Do it. Browns DST.
I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick could throw 6 interceptions against his old alma mater defense. Like he could walk into a Harvard-Yale game and get destroyed at this point.
Confirmed.
Okay. Evan.
Confirmed.
But the Browns want to lose, so they'll just drop the interception.
They'll just drop them. Wait, Sammy, it's your pick.
Okay, so where are we at? Smith, Fitz, Jimmy Graham, and the Browns?
No, we did not.
We didn't play Alex Smith.
I just wanted to troll.
Good
everybody.
Lord. Yeah, I almost left.
It's every week we got to put up with this.
Jesus. Okay. All right. Give me Zeke, baby. I love Zeke.
Love
Zeke.
it.
Hashtag.
I don't officially endorse this play.
I'm fine with it.
Game's going to be so slow. But I mean,
Who cares? The Eagles are super undersized, and Dallas just runs. Show me a game where Zeke has not succeeded.
Well, that's very reductive, fella.
Thanks. Hey, shut up. Hey. This is what you get for. This is what
we
you
got
get
collar
for
alarms going off,
man.
Yeah. All right, Evan, you're up again, fella.
Cam Newton.
All right. Well, I'll just get it out of the way.
I mean, you're just gonna skip me again?
Well, I was just going to get it out of the way and take Booker. All right, go ahead.
And leave me with the tough pick?
Yeah. No, you can take Booker. That's fine because I got a pick to go in here.
Okay, I'll take Booker.
Okay. All right. So there are a couple things we can do here. One would be to take Golden Tate, and the other would be to take Michael Thomas. And follow up with my hot take earlier. And I think we're gonna do Michael Thomas, and now we can spend up on defense a little bit if we want.
Okay, you know what? Then I'm going to change my quarterback pick to Breeze.
Okay, fine by me. All right, so now we can have any defense we want. Basically, we can take.
So Broncos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have 5,600 for.
We got 5,600 for a ticker.
Who was the third wide receiver? Fitz, Thomas, and who?
Yeah, let's fade Booker.
We can fade Booker and go up to Devonta Freeman.
That's what you want.
But then we have to come off Broncos for.
Dude, is there any way we can fit DJ in here?
Yeah, you just take him over. Just take him over Elliott.
Oh, no, I mean any other way, like over Freeman.
Yeah, like play the guy who like catches passes. Yeah. No, okay, so this is the move. So then you just go take like the Patriots defense and then whatever kicker. I don't know. I don't have a strong take on any of these defenses. Evan is right. They all suck. Like literally every defense sucks.
Evan, who's give me a defense take? Anybody at all?
I sort of like Carolina just because the Carson Palmer takes a ton of sacks and throws a lot of interceptions. And the last time that they played, he committed 6 turnovers against Carolina.
Boom.
All right, so the team is Drew Brees, Ezekiel Elliott, Devonta Freeman, Larry Fitzgerald, Mike Evans, Michael Thomas, Jimmy Graham, Matt Bryant, Carolina Panthers.
McManus GOAT.
Yeah, you got or yeah.
You always have to play Brandon McManus.
Yeah.
Solid leverage off Booker right there.
Boom. Got to get that.
Very good leverage.
That's sports rich right there.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. No doubt.
All right, boys. Final thoughts on the slate. Evan, you got anything?
Play Sunday to Monday.
Sage advice.
That's actually a good point. So like if you're not getting like, 5K down a weekend, play whatever slate you think is like most advantageous. I was getting yelled by some like sharper DFS players than myself yesterday about this, and it really does make a lot of sense. Like, if you're only playing $1,000 a weekend, you should just be getting all your action out on like Thursdays because there are so many like bad plays on those Thursday games.
I just don't like the lineups that I'm building on this main slate at all. I mean, I don't like any defense plays. I mean, I don't like the way that the way that these lineups are constructed. I mean, I want to play the Vikings defense against the Bears against Jay Cutler on Monday night. I want to have a lot. I want to invest in that.
Tuttle, do you think there's anything to that, or do you think kind of more unclear slates and tougher decisions kind of give an advantage to sharper players?
I think, the more decisions you have to make, it's obviously going to benefit the person who knows more or is sharper, as you would say. So I think there's a little bit to each person's point. I think Davis has a point in saying to attack the slates where you think opposing lineups are going to be bad. Those are usually Thursday night lineups because people just want to jam in Thursday night plays. But then there's also a point, you got to do what you feel comfortable with, though, as well. There's no reason to force action if you're running lineups that you don't like.
All right, we're going to finish this thing up. Just a little judgment on your host, Sammy Reed. First off, Davis Mattek, scale of 1 to 10. What does the Mattek judge give me?
So the thing is it's impossible to not grade you on a curve where the curve was,
I mean, we're very low.
We're very low. So I'm gonna give you. You started out kind of timid, kind of Bambi like. We kind of had to help you, but it's kind of an intimidating situation, being that this is it is the Swolecast. It's not.
You're
not a
next
joke.
to Davis. You're fine, Sammy. You're fine. You got the biggest.
He's still here.
You got the biggest fish.
It's unbelievable. This guy.
You got the biggest fish next to you. 2 straight weeks has mixed up home and road games. You're fine, Sammy. You're fine. I'm just
very good. So we got a 10.0 from the Mattek judge, from the Tuttle judge.
I'll give you a 7.
Solid 7.
You always know Tuttle is going to withhold the affection. This is part of his brain.
Can't give you any love.
For sure. I think I should get at least a 7.5 because I didn't say anything about your goatee. Silva, what do you got for me, bud?
Really strong, Sammy. Great job. Well done, man. Good.
Sammy Silva would definitely know too, because he recently set the world record for most fantasy football podcasts recorded in a month.
This is true. This is entirely true.
We're his main piece. The rest are just mistresses.
I agree with that.
All right, guys. On behalf of Sammy, Davis, Evan, and Tuttle, we'll see you next week, week 9, here on the Swolecast.